In this video, we are going to look at why this current cryptocurrency and Bitcoin bull run is far from over and why I think we still have a long way to go. What's up guys, Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell to get updates of future videos so that you don't miss another one. And if you want to get email notifications whenever I upload a new video, simply click on the first link in the description, sign up for my free cryptocurrency masterclass. You'll get on my email list too, and you'll get a jam-packed presentation full of what I think is going to be the way to profit from this bull run, my top 3 coins, and how to join my private community intelligent cryptocurrency. Click the first link in the description, you'll get on the email list too. So let's dive into today's content. We're seeing here Bitcoin trading at $58,000. We had a nice little run up yesterday and the day before, and while it seemed like it was going to pull back further, it didn't. It reversed on top of the news that was going on, also the FOMC stuff. You can see, so we're back at 58K. We still are a little bit undecisive. You know, are we going to go down from here? Is this a bearish retest? Are we going to go a little bit further down? Or is this the start to the run to 67, 68,000, or maybe even to 80,000 plus, right? So we have to look at that. We still are above the 3 ascending trend lines, right? So you can see this was the gap between the 42K top, the 43K bottom. That was what I said was going to be a bullish indicator because the strength behind that created the gap. Buyers stepped in earlier. The next round up should be stronger, which we did see. We had a bit of a pullback here from 61K, dropped down to 53-ish. But as you can see, we are still above the steeper trend line. So right now, as long as we stay above, say, 54,000, this trend line roughly, right, or the previous low, 53,000, as long as we stay above there, the chance is good. We're going to go to 67,000 plus, maybe 70, maybe even as much as 80,000 in this leg. Okay, obviously, if we break down through this, then we're going to have to see maybe it might be more of an extended correction where, you know, we might go down to in the mid 40s. But for now, as long as we stay above 53K, it is looking good for further upside. Now, one thing, of course, that is present here is a negative divergence. You can see, so the price action is making higher highs, but the RSI is not confirming that, it's making lower lows. So in a bull market, negative divergences, they are something to watch out for, but at the same time, they can be broken, so they're not always effective. This can continue going much higher, and the RSI can break to the upside, and the negative divergence doesn't always play out, right? So be careful of that, but it is present. So at some point, once things are done, I think we're going to get a big crash or a reversal. The question is going to be, how is that going to play out? And that's what we're trying to figure out. You know, is it going to be maybe a local top in May, followed by a 3 to 6 month correction, followed by an even higher high towards the end of the year? Or is it going to be more of a slower grind up with a later acceleration middle of the year? So we have to keep an eye on those things. Personally, if you've watched the last videos, you've been seeing I'm leaning towards a sort of local top in May, maybe followed by a correction, maybe followed by a higher high. I think at this point that is still a likely scenario. I'm going to show you in a second why. We're going to go through some news articles. The fundamentals are still so bullish. There's still a lot of buying happening at this point, and that just makes me think we are still going to go higher. We still have not yet had what I think is going to be a parabolic blow-off like we saw at the end of 2017, where Bitcoin went from $7,500 to almost $20,000 in less than a month. That is the parabolic blow-off that I've been talking about, and I don't think we've seen that. It's just not evident on the charts yet, on Bitcoin and on altcoins. So I still think that lies ahead of us. And again, like I said, whether that's in the next 1 to 2 months or whether that's going to play out over the rest of the year, that remains to be seen. But I think it's better to take a cautious approach and expect it to end sooner, and at least be prepared for that. So, you know, removing initial, knowing where you're going to take profits on the way up and that sort of thing, rather than, you know, just keeping it all in and expecting this to run in one straight line only up until the end of the year. I think that's unlikely. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. So better to be prepared and not get caught off guard, and then, you know, try and navigate this as best as possible. So there are still application requests for ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs happening. You can see over here the SEC has acknowledged Vaneck's 19B4 form for the first US Bitcoin ETF application. They now have 45 days to approve or deny the application or extend the review period. This was already talked about, 2017, 2018. We're waiting for that Bitcoin ETF. Got denied. And eventually I think it's just a matter of time before it will get accepted. Whether or not it's going to happen this time remains to be seen. Maybe, maybe not, right? But it's still happening, okay? Visa plans to enable Bitcoin payments at 70 million merchants. A few years ago, Bitcoin was completely, the banks were against it, the companies were against it, everything like that. So now to look at Visa actually saying, hey, we're going to actually enable Bitcoin payments, it's a stamp of approval. It's saying, hey, Bitcoin is here, it's legitimate, might go mainstream in the next few years, let's integrate it, right? And obviously, whether they believe in it or not is besides the point. They see it, it's here to stay, they can make money from it, so they're integrating it, which helps for the adoption. It's just a large snowball effect, right? So this is usually bullish, I would say. Then we can see over here, so Jessica Vaughn, passionate American playboy playmate turned photographer. Today she posted on Twitter, "Today is the first day I own Bitcoin. Are my eyes going to glow on their own, or do I manually have to do something for the laser look?" Basically just saying like, we are just getting started with, models, celebrities, rappers, athletes, actors, all starting to buy Bitcoin. We've seen a little bit. There was one, one NFL player who wanted like half his salary in Bitcoin. It's starting slowly at first, but there's a lot of people with a lot of money, and if they all start buying some Bitcoin, even whether it's 50,000 or 100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million, there's only so much Bitcoin available, and if all these aren't even like investors or funds or anything like that. These are just people with money that are starting to realize, and they have a lot of followers, and that's the thing where I'm getting at too. So as this trend continues, and as we start to see more influential people start to announce on their social media that, hey, they're buying Bitcoin, like this is just one example, but here, 266,000 followers, right? So tweeting that out, and as people start to see more of their role models and their influencers or their favorite people talk about, hey, they're buying Bitcoin, it's just going to start influencing a percentage of their followers to do the same. So that can really get a huge amount of people still into Bitcoin. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg. I think just getting started with this, we're starting to see it. I think we'll see it more and more and more. Then like this over here, March 17th. So this is super new. This is yesterday. Hong Kong listed company Meitu Inc. has purchased another. They already bought Bitcoin and Ether. They have bought another 16,000 ETH at 28.4 million, 386 BTC at 21.6 million. So basically they've bought another $50 million. They now have a total of $90 million worth of crypto. Again, this is just one company. They announced this yesterday, right? So they're buying at these levels. So what does that tell you about where the price is going? If they are buying at these levels, they're not expecting this to be the top of crypto, okay? Maybe short term, yes, they'll probably understand it can drop 30, 40, 50%, but in the long term, they're obviously doing this because they expect the long term cryptocurrencies to go way higher than what they're buying it at. And this is just one company. We've obviously seen a lot. We've seen Microstrategy, we've seen Mass Mutual, we've seen Tesla, we've seen a lot of companies starting to buy, right? Here's another one, Meitu. This is still just a very small handful of companies that are only starting to buy. What is going to happen when thousands or tens of thousands of companies are starting to buy? And they are seeing other companies doing this. So it's just a matter of time, right? 1 at a time, 10 at a time, 50, 100, it grows more and more. And again, there's 21 million Bitcoin, or there will only ever be 21. There's actually much less Bitcoin available for these companies to buy. And they're buying this up. You'll see in a second how much Bitcoin is actually leaving exchanges. So that makes me think we are still in the early phases, and we're still going to go a lot higher. We are still going to get that parabolic blow-off phase, I think, right? Mike Novogratz, I just bought more Bitcoin at $56,500, just in case if anyone was wondering if I'm still bullish. So you can see, again, wealthy people buying at these levels. Microstrategy, okay, so obviously they've been buying, I think since in the mid 10,000s, they've been buying all the way up, just even here, okay? March 12th, so almost a week ago, they bought another 262 Bitcoin for 15 million in cash at $57,000. So they have 91,000 Bitcoin, 2.2 billion at an average price of 24,000 per Bitcoin. So obviously they are well in profit. So that's why, they can still be buying at these levels, because their average is still well in profit. So it doesn't really matter. It slightly raised their average. So it's a little bit different, but still they are buying still at these prices with the expectation that down the line it's going to go way, way higher, right? So again, bullish, bullish, bullish. And you can see CNBC, Morgan Stanley becomes the first big US bank to offer its wealthy clients access to Bitcoin funds. Morgan Stanley, banks, like one of the biggest banks, is now offering access to Bitcoin funds, right? What does that say? Bitcoin and crypto is here to stay. Grayscale Investments launches 5 new investment trusts. New offerings reflect growing global demand for digital currency investment products. BAT, Chainlink, Decentraland, Filecoin, and LivePeer. Okay, so again, more infrastructure being built. This can all be offered to their existing clients and new clients, which means more growth for crypto. Digital asset investment products hit record 4.2 billion inflows already in this quarter. Bitcoin is dominating, but Ethereum is growing in popularity for institutional investment products. According to CoinShares' March 15 Fund Flows Weekly Report, first quarter inflows into cryptocurrency funds are up 7.7%, already 4.2 billion, smashing the quarterly record of 3.9 billion set in Q4 2020. Record inflows into Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, and you can see over here, this is very interesting. Glassnode is basically showing Bitcoin is leaving exchanges like never seen before. Okay, so while the FUD is out there and they're saying, India is going to ban crypto and this and that, and it's going to be regulated and all this stuff and whatever other FUD comes out, while people are talking about, it's over and crypto is going back down, the end of the bull run, that kind of stuff, what we're seeing here is big players buy a lot of Bitcoin and taking it off exchanges, right? So look at what they're doing, not at what they're saying. This is also very interesting. I will link to this below in the description. Pantera, they always write the monthly report, Bitcoin coming of age. And basically what I want to point out over here is that they have these predictions, the Pantera halving stock to flow projections. And you can see they did this in 2020 already. And you can see their prediction, how their projected price continues to increase for this year and how their projection has been accurate or not. Here they were lagging, here they were actually ahead of things. And you can see that projection continuing up to August is over $100,000, $115,000 by August. Now, obviously that's not a guarantee. It could undershoot it, it could overshoot it. But basically, they are not stupid, okay? They're not just some YouTuber talking about Bitcoin prices. They're a fund with a lot of money, a lot of smart people, a lot of resources, and they are projecting this too. So, put it all together and see what's happening, right? Plan B, $100 trillion. You see me talk about this over and over on the channel. The stock to flow model so far is perfectly on track. And the next plateau over here is about $100,000. You can see, so this was a top 2013, top in 2017. The peaks tend to overshoot the plateau, meaning that, we could go way over that 100K. So far, it's perfectly on track. Does that guarantee that it's going to continue? Absolutely not. Is it realistic to assume that, hey, there is actually a decent chance that as it's been continuing so far, combined with all the bullish news that I've just shared with you so far, that we are going to continue, right? And whether that's going to pull back first and then continue to go higher, but you can see over here. So basically, this is similar to the scenario I think we could have again, where we have a peak somewhere in April, May, pull back, and then a launch. We could see something like that rather than the 2017 one, where it just goes kind of straight up. But it could also be like the 2017 model. And basically, you can see over here, he's saying we are 3.5 months into the Bitcoin bull market, and that's by being measured as the time when we crossed the previous peak. Bitcoin will not stop at 100K. It will continue to stock to flow X $288,000 average price level. The all-time high will be higher. And he's saying this with a lot of conviction. Will he be right? Only we will know in hindsight after the fact. But so far, he has been absolutely spot on with this model. Again, this chart, you've seen me share it before, unless you're new to the channel, but basically same thing, previous cycles, right? And you can see where we are at in the other cycles compared to 2013, compared to 2017. We still have a lot of time and a lot of price to go. And if this continues higher, we still have several months to go and a lot higher upside. JP Morgan says that retail investors have purchased more than 187,000 Bitcoin worth 10.4 billion over the past 3 months via PayPal and Square. Institutions have also purchased 173,000 Bitcoin worth 9.6 billion over the same period. So you can see huge inflows. And here, this from Willy Woo also, he's basically saying here the number of new users seen on blockchain per day, 30-day moving average, 35,000 new users per day arriving on chain, which means exchanges are likely adopting an additional 100,000 users per day, right? 100,000 users per day. They still have to get registered. They still have to deposit their funds. Then they have to decide what they buy. So, you know, there's still a lot of momentum behind this, and there is a lot of bullishness behind this. And like I said, on the charts, we haven't had the parabolic blow-off phase yet. So I think all of this is pointing towards we still have further upside to go in the coming weeks and months. The question is going to be, how does that play out? Do we see, like I said, a local top maybe in April or May, followed by a larger correction, followed by a higher high towards the end of the year? Or we're going to go, you know, more sideways and straight up without a larger correction? That we'll have to see. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell to get those updates. Get on my email list, first link in the description below. And I'll send you an update every time I upload a video. And we'll do this, you know, a week at a time, a month at a time. We'll see how it continues to progress. And, you know, as things change and as sentiment changes and as things start to get more risky, obviously I'll try and warn as best as I can about this. But the longer that this goes on, the closer we get toward the end of the bull run and the higher things go, especially once things really start to go parabolic. That is when you want to start getting less risky, remove initial, take profits, reduce positions, because at some point there will be another big crash, 50% plus, I think. So again, it's better to be prepared and cautious to try and not get caught off guard. So guys, subscribe, like, share. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.